Peace now my peeps, I'm Au Naturel Dell and this is the Vacuum Tube Guns Showcase. As the Christmas event is drawing to an end, you may have picked up a few vacuum tube schematics along the way, and they certainly look the part with flashing lights and swirling nature juice filling up their barrels. But are they actually any good in combat? Will they tickle your pickle or trouble your schematic bubble? Well, as ever, there's only one way to find out peeps, so let's dive in and take a look at these nature spewing beasts. Vacuum Tube Rifle. The Vacuum Tube Rifle is a semi-automatic shooter with good range and accuracy, plus surprisingly high base damage and impact. Its most obvious comparable is the semi-automatic hunter-killer rifle, but the Vacuum Tube Rifle is considerably up on single shot damage. Okay, so it uses pricey energy rounds, as per all but the launcher variant of the Vacuum Tube weapons, but this can be forgiven since it has an almost 40% damage boost, round for round, above the hunter-killer. On the downside, the fire rate is only 5 rounds per second and magazine capacity is only 20, meaning DPS is down. But as a semi-auto, hitting max fire rate isn't always sustainable, unless you have an auto fire mod or Fingers of Steel. So higher base damage can sometimes be beneficial above fire rate for semi-auto rifles. So where will it come in use? Well, it does make for a handy wave clearer to quickly take out stragglers, and it's great at mid-range engagements, particularly on those pesky laser eyes and lobbers, when a few well-placed headshots will do the job. But overall, it's not a rifle I'm particularly excited by. Okay, you may land one with ridiculous perks, turning the Vacuum Tube Rifle into a beast, but in reality, you're probably going to land effect-specific perks and durability, or a combination of things you don't want. Damn those perk rolls. It does have a nice feel to it, and the single shot damage is very satisfying. But overall, I don't see this as a standout assault option, and one that I won't be pursuing. Vacuum Tube Sniper. Less a sniper rifle, more a laser gun. The Vacuum Tube Sniper is one of the most odd and potentially useless artillery options to come out of a Fortnite special event. On paper, it looks interesting, but it isn't really comparable to any other sniper option. The whole pretense of a sniper is long range, slow fire rate, high accuracy and high single shot damage, none of which are traits the Vacuum Tube Sniper shares. Although it is the weakest sniper option available, in its favour it has a comparably huge ammo capacity and fire rate. Indeed, with 50 rounds in the magazine and a 12 rounds per second fire rate, it sounds more like an assault option. But once you've taken this gun into the field and have fired it a couple of times, you realise why. For a start, it has a warm-up period. Much like the Monsoon pistol, you'll have to wait a moment before shooting your load. And then, instead of a high impact round being fired, you're presented with a Ghostbusters style laser beam. Okay, it has a 6,500 plus range, but given the recoil effect and lack of single shot damage, it's not easy to maintain a sustained headshot. Oddly though, I did find it useful for low level wave clear at close range. Since it spews its thunder all over the place, it seemed to work better as a close range mob killer than a long range implement of death. It is fun to play with, and does offer a new dynamic to the sniper rifle class. But for me, I have to be honest and say it's nothing more than a fancy looking piece of shit. Vacuum Tube Shotgun. I think it's fair to say the Vacuum Tube Shotgun is pretty niche compared to the standard artillery options available, and it's aimed at DPS play. It fires a triple energy burst, meaning although the damage appears low and magazine size large, in reality a single triple shot burst will lay down enormous damage, shadowed only by the bear and around about on par with the Nightclaw. But this also means the 15 shot capacity is really a 5 shot gun with a burst factored in. Impact is shadowed by the bear's power, but given the triple shot exceeds impact on the Nightclaw in a single pull of the trigger. So in a sense, I would say this gun bridges the gap between those two weapons, offering good damage and impact with reasonable range, but a long reload time of 4 seconds. It's not my favourite shotty, but on the same note you could do a lot worse. It's got quite a tight spread, so not the best for dealing with low level mobs, but does have enough power to address the tanks when appropriately levelled. Since I don't have any decent elemental shotties at present, and my particular perks include stun effects, which will actually work being a high stun rate gun, I am considering levelling this one up for my Headhunter build. But realistically, since I have an assault class Hydra shotty, I'll probably just be sticking with that on my standard soldier DPS build. Vacuum Tube Revolver. The Vacuum Tube Revolver, in a nutshell, is an energy ammo version of the Judge hand cannon, one of my favourite pistols in Fortnite and a great addition to any Ranger class Outlander build. Hand cannons offer high single shot damage and excellent range, particularly useful for taking out distant mist monsters or in a pinch smasher knockbacks. Although slightly down on damage to the judge, impact is up. However, since the vacuum tube revolver uses 2 rounds of energy ammo per shot, its ammo capacity is down to just 5 shots per magazine compared to the judge's 6. It might not sound like a big deal, but when dealing with hand cannons, every shot really does count. And this puts the vacuum tube revolver down on DPS and wave clear potential to that of the judge. If you land one with good perks, high base damage or critical damage and crit rate, it could be worth hanging on to, especially with the addition of nature damage, as per all vacuum tube shooters. But overall, the additional power and ammo consumption of the judge make it a preferential option if I had to pick, and thus I can't really recommend this one unless you don't own a decent hand cannon already, or if you land a vacuum tube revolver with amazing perks. Yeah right, like that's going to happen. Vacuum tube launcher. Oh yes, Epic, another launcher to add to the plethora of options. But what makes this one special? Well, unlike any other rocket launcher, the vacuum tube launcher offers burst fire and a multi-shot magazine, in a sense making it sit somewhere between a grenade launcher and a rocket launcher. With a 45 round ammo capacity divided into 3 to allow for the burst, the legendary vacuum tube launcher carries 15 burst shots, 3 of which can be fired in quick succession before requiring a reload. Although the base damage isn't huge, with the triple shot burst, the vacuum tube launcher falls only about 12% down on power to that of the bazooka, but it is up on cumulative impact. With 3 burst shots in the magazine, DPS is up, even when considering the vacuum tube launcher's longer reload time. The vacuum tube launcher seems to work as a DPS option. I feel the launcher itself though is lacking something. The actual splash damage is not as wide as that of a conventional rocket launcher, and is more likely to stun than knock back tankier foes. It can be used as a wave clearer to aid with crowd control, but more so, if fired in quick succession, it provides a DPS advantage over that of the bazooka. Will I be levelling the vacuum tube launcher up though? Well, probably not, but that's largely because I already have a very trusty dambuster with good perks. I primarily use it to knock back smashers, not so much for general crowd control, and not so much to kill tankier foes. And the vacuum tube launcher just can't compete on that level. But if you don't already hold a decent launcher and want both a CC and DPS option in your artillery, or maybe you just picked up a vacuum tube launcher with insane perks, then it is worth considering as an explosive option. Lightning pistol. In every Fortnite special event, there always seems to be a weapon that stands out, that offers advantages above and beyond the standard artillery, and in this instance, it's the lightning pistol. Bridging the gap between the Viper and Thrasher machine pistols, the lightning pistol offers Thrasher single shot damage, but with Viper fire rate and extended magazine. In fact, it has even more ammo in its bowels than the Viper, with a huge 40 round ammo capacity. Okay, so the range is down to that of the Thrasher, but considering how inaccurate the Thrasher is at max range and how stable the lightning pistol is, the deficit can easily be forgiven. Indeed, for a rapid fire option, the lightning pistol feels incredibly stable and accurate. It is of course more effective at close range, but considering the class this is aimed at, again, not a problem, since Outlanders are all about dive in and dive out play. So all things considered, I believe the lightning pistol is probably the best machine pistol available in Fortnite, if not the best pistol full stop. It just feels so well rounded. It'll clear mobs and down tanks, and the range, although limited, never really seems to be a problem. The only downside is that it drinks expensive energy ammo. But if, like me, you don't really have any other decent energy ammo guns, it's a great way to get rid of the stuff. If you land one of these with decent perks, ideally crit rate and crit damage, your pistol buffed Outlander will become a beast, and I highly recommend you consider this one as your preferred pistol option. This, for me, is definitely the pick of the vacuum tube weapons, and would make a great addition to any pistol focused loadout. So there we have it guys, the vacuum tube guns in all their natural glory. I have to say, although interesting, these haven't for me been the best selection of special event weapons. They're just a bit too quirky for my liking. But saying that, the lightning pistol alone has made it all worthwhile. A legendary lightning pistol with good perks could be a game changer, provided you're not averse to a bit of pistol buffed Outlander play. But let me know how you've got on with your vacuum tube guns in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, please send me money because I'm broke. or just hit that like button and subscribe for more nature juice blowing carnage. And until next time, GG, well played, and laters fam. Laters.